Hello, this time I want to talk to you about the project I have going. Well, it's not really a project, it's just a few small things I will be doing to improve my Tokyo Marui Mark 23. Now, as a standard gun, it's quite good, but as you know, it can always be better because the standard, for example, the standard inner barrel is about 6.08 if I remember correctly. So that's quite big in comparison to most barrels, which go towards like 6.04. 6.05 is considered quite big, so most run around 6.04. So that's one of the changes I wanted to do because that's quite a big size for an inner barrel, and other stuff to make the usage of the MK23 a lot more easier. So just to remind you, this is the MK23. So visually there will not be any changes for now. I might do some changes, but for the time being, the changes will remain on the inside. So let's talk about one of the first changes. So internally, as I spoke about the inner barrel, I'll be changing it for a stainless steel, a lot smaller inner diameter. So this is a 6.03. So going from 6.08 to 6.03 is quite a difference. Now you can go all the way to 6.01, but then you lose, so you don't gain everything. So you don't gain everything. So there's always a trade-off. So if you go all the way to 6.01, then if I remember correctly, you gain more FPS, but you lose accuracy. And with 6.03, I found, and read, so hopefully that's correct, that you have the right amount of balance between accuracy and FPS. And I want more accuracy than FPS. Well, it's only a pistol, so basically you can go all the way to 6.01, but that's more down to preference. So the brand of this inner barrel is Modify, which is quite a new brand on the scene. So you can see on the... So it's quite a new barrel on the scene. Now you can't see inside the barrel from the camera, but I can tell you it is very nicely polished and finished. There is no... It's very nice, flat and clean as you would want it to be. And as you can see, or maybe not know, this is 133. So this is the standard size that's inside the Tokyo Marui. Now, does that mean you can only go to 133? No. You can actually go longer, but then you will have to start modifying inside, because if you want to go longer, the barrel starts to foul with the units it is placed inside of. So you'll have to open it up a bit so the barrel can protrude further than no, you can't actually further than it is now. But I went with 133 just to try it out, and because I don't really want to start permanently modifying anything on the Tokyo Marui, but maybe I will down the line. Of course, just a barrel is not enough. You also need a good bucking to go with it. Now, thankfully, the site did offer a paired bucking and even explained which bucking you should get. And this is, as you can see, an X range. Not sure what X means, but hopefully I'll find out sooner or later. And you can see you have 70, 65, and 55. Now you're probably wondering what these degrees mean. Now basically these degrees denote the hardness of the rubber. So the higher the number, the harder this, which is called a bucking, will be. So just to explain, if you have your barrel here, you see these, what they call bridge. That's where this will sit over. Now, obviously, you can see this line, which will, if I remember correctly, marry up with the line on the bucking. But it's in the box now, but that's something I'll show you when I start to assemble it. But there you go. So the bucking sits on it like this. Okay. So what actually does this bucking do? It applies a backspin to your BB. So not really got anything to show. So this sits inside your hop-up. Now, if you're not sure what a hop-up does, the term is in the name itself. It hops your BBs, and then you can either go higher or to 0. Now, the bucking is what actually comes into contact with the BB. And then you got your hop-up arm, and then you got something like a wheel. Let's say it's an M4, and you pull down the dust cover, then you'll see a wheel or a rotary wheel or a slider like in AKs. But they all do the same thing. So either the slider, the wheel, or the rotary wheel like this will apply pressure on an arm, which in turn applies pressure onto this, which in turn creates a backspin on the BB. Now, the more you push on the bucking, the more it applies a backspin, the further the BB will travel. So that's the basic principle of it. And that's why you need to go to a certain number if you want that particular performance out of the replica. So that's why I went for 65, because that was recommended, and that will provide the optimal performance, because obviously you'd think the higher the better, which is correct up to a certain point, but there's also something like balance. So it all has to, the whole setup has to work nicely. So that's why if you're not certain about the correct hop-up or barrel setup, then it's always easier to ask a store or maybe on a forum, because it's not just like I buy a barrel, I buy a bucking, and I throw it together. You have to get that optimal performance. But now you know a little bit more of what, if I'm just showing you this and you're like, what the hell is that? Now you know why and what this does. So just a simple explanation. I'll explain it better as I learn it better, but hopefully I explained it correctly. It was a quick Google search. So now you know what these numbers mean. They're of course different, but I won't go into that. So there are very different amount of buckings, but that's maybe something you'll have to look into yourself, because I will draw away from the video. So, but maybe I'll do a video on that as well. So there we have it. We have our barrel. We have our, and I bought 3 because they come from the England, and it's nice English. They come from the UK, and I bought 3 just to have some backup. So that's why there's 3 of them. So we have our barrel, you have our bucking. Now you can use the standard hop-up system, which in this case is a wheel. So you have to take your slide off, push this pin through, which I showed in the previous video, and then inside you'll find a little wheel you can turn. Now, they have found a solution for this with most pistols, and that's a TDC. So TDC stands for top dead center, and basically denotes the ability to apply hop-up from outside the replica or pistol in this case, instead of having to take it apart. Also, consequentially, it will allow for a more fine tuning than this hop-up that's in here. So there's actually 2 benefits: a more fine application of the hop and the ease of use of adjusting it on the field. You're shooting an it's not quite good enough. You just take out your little key. They make for this brand, Hadron, they have a special key which goes into this little hole, which was normally reserved for the flashlight that comes with this replica. But they made a key that screws into here, so you always have it on you, so you can apply your hop a bit, and then you can put it here so you don't lose it. So that's actually a TDC hop. So I went for Hadron because Hadron make these. There are other brands, of course, but Hadron is considered the original or OG. So actually to use this hop-up for this particular replica, you need 3 pieces. So you need a plate. You need the, it's moved to the back, an arm. So this replaces that arm that's in here. And you need the frame. So this plate, as you can see, I'll take it out and hopefully don't lose it. Oh, okay. So you have your little plate with a single hole, and this is your TDC screw, which will push down on this plate. You can see the little shiny thing. I'll take it out in a moment. So that pushes down on the plate. Now, there is a different plate with 3 holes, so that you can apply a sort of left and right on the bucking. So normally it's just one central force down on the bucking, but the idea behind the 3 is that you can also do a sort of left or right alteration on the BB. But that's I went for the single plate because my good friend from Valhalla Berserkers on Instagram said that he only uses the single one, and given my lack of experience, I followed suit and took his advice. He also advised all the other parts I just showed you. And then, so that replaces the wheel that's inside the Tokyo Marui that I just showed you, and this is the arm that replaces the hop-up arm that's inside the Tokyo Marui at the moment. There we go. Back inside here before I lose it. Of course, you need a frame to hold everything. So this is a sort of polymer printed casing. And you can see here is where you put in that little plate with the screw that I showed you. So what this does is it replaces this part. So you have to take this part out and replace it with this, and then this comes in its spot. Now the idea that hadron says is that it will still allow you to move your slide. There's another brand, but I don't really want to mention it because it's maybe like negative press and that's not fair. Maybe so. There's another brand, and that one will impede the movement of the slide, even though you don't really need the movement of the slide, but that's something you'll have to decide for yourself. So this replaces this, because otherwise you won't be able to adjust your hop up from the outside. Now, I'm not really sure there's any point in showing you the standard hop system. It is basically just if you take off the slide, there's a tiny wheel that you can adjust to apply more or less hop. So that's maybe something that I'll show you when I take it apart, and then you can see the standard hop system. There is of course a lot more you can do. As you can see, it doesn't have the silencer on it. I tried a different silencer, but I didn't really like it. So I'm still searching for one. Probably what I will do is put on a cap, which, because this is 16 clockwise, to 14 counterclockwise. So, which is the more generic size used by replicas and will allow me to put on a wider variety of silencers. So for the moment, I'm going to leave it like this, or use the one that came with it, which is a quite good one, but long. So maybe I think I'll go with the, as I just mentioned, the adapter, and then go for a 14 counterclockwise, which is good because then I'll be able to use it on other replicas as well. Oops. It's nice that it comes in this little case to protect it. Don't push on it too hard because in the end it's still plastic. Magazine wise, as you may or may not have seen or heard, the video will still come. But I'm going to buy other magazines for this because I have the Tokyo Marui magazines, but they're not really made for green gas. So they're made for duster gas. So they'll vent quite a lot when you try to fill them. So what I decided to do is buy an STTI max, or an aftermarket mag. And I will also be trying the Novridge SS623 mags, which are modified STTI mags. And eventually hope find someone who can modify my Tokyo Marui mags so they can take green gas and work more efficiently. But for now, that's pretty much all I'll be doing to my Tokyo Marui. Visually, not much, but maybe I'll change some of the other items on it, though I probably won't for a while, because that's a mistake I did with my AAP01. I modified too much, too fast, and ended up with something I can't use and doesn't work. So this time I'll just change what I just showed you and take it from there, and make obviously a video about the performance and everything after the video about the stock performance. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Yeah, so that's all my parts. I'll put on the exact name and description, and also the price if you're interested, or if you ask me, I'll tell you the price of the whole package together. The store I bought it from was Longbow BB UK. The service was nice. There was an issue, but that issue was resolved. The shipping was quite fast, and I honestly have no complaints about anything the store has done. The only thing I might be able to note is that it was all in one package, loose with no padding, but that's maybe my autism or OCD, so that's not really a complaint. That's just like I want it all firm and it doesn't move, but there's no issue if it moves, you know, so that's maybe just me. So it's not really a downside. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about this video or other videos, please feel free to contact me or find me on Instagram. You'll find me right away, hopefully, because I found out it's quite a unique name, and you can always contact me there or on YouTube. Have a nice day or evening, depending on where you're watching from, and take care. Bye-bye.